Yeah, well, as I said, I thought it was a great race. But, how can they do it? But the rules said that how can they take all the 5 cars that were in between him and Verstappen and take them out of the way? Verstappen wouldn't have been able to overtake them all in the time. What's going on? They told Lewis, but they weren't going to. There wasn't going to happen, and so he didn't stop, and he made the right decision at the time not to stop, to keep in the front. And Verstappen took when they got the new tyres to make a decision, and then what happened? They took the 5, even if they be consistent and say if it was 5 only cars, but it was 7, and they said you've got to take 7 cars, take all cars. It says all cars, and take all cars are going, but only 5 went. What's going on?
I know it's bad. Pat, in your opinion,
I love the passion.
Yeah, Pat, in your opinion, we're talking about, obviously, British sports people. Where does Lewis rank for you in terms of the greatest? Is he the greatest? Is there someone ahead of him?
Well, I mean, who else has won 7 world titles? Yes, so for so long, dominated for so long. Do we have anybody else? As I said, he's great. He's great, and I think he's the thing. But to dominate from them, and it's all, there's no luck about it or stuff like that. His dad had him doing it from when he was a kid. His mum and dad had him doing it. Yeah, so it's all hard work, which and as I said, I just can't understand why they're not getting behind him as well. Because he's a Brit. I can't stand why all the other Brits like Damien Hill are saying, well, he's robbed. If it's in the letter of doing it, they've got 2 clauses. They said with Mercedes are going to be. I think they said that the what's his name, the investigating body of the Formula One, they're like investigating themselves. So it's a bit like
Yeah.
Wow.
Guys, what I wanted to say more than anything was there's 2 ways of looking at it. F1 is a huge sport. So if we look at what we watch in this country and worldwide, F1's huge. Football is clearly the biggest thing that we watch in this country.
Yeah.
And then prize fighting's great and it's huge. So if we look at football, we can look back over ages at Bobby Charlton winning European Player of the Year, Kevin Keegan, Michael Owen. They're not in the conversation about the greatest players of all time. So, sorry, Bobby. If you look at Ronnie O'Sullivan, without a shadow of a doubt, the greatest talent that snooker's ever seen, but it's not a worldwide sport, although it touches the Far East. Someone mentioned Phil the Power, without a shadow of a doubt, the greatest dartsman. And whilst they do play in Vegas now, it's not world-touching. Lewis Hamilton's sport is world-touching, and you said before, Benty, there's one record he doesn't have. Vettel beat him to the youngest driver to ever win it. So whilst I watched it today, and I get it that as a nation of losers that people are going to now like him, the guy is the greatest F1 driver of all time. It's almost not up for debate. You can talk about gifts of Senna, and you can talk about what Schumacher brought, but he's took on all comers, Lewis, over 2 generations and beat them. So for me, he is the number 1 sportsman ever from Great Britain. Now, coupled with that, I was speaking to the guy offline and said, Tyson Fury for me already is number 2, because not only has he done it twice in the greatest prize in sport, he's done it against 2 generational talents in Deontay Wilder, and he did it against Klitschko.
A prime Klitschko, by the way. Prime Klitschko as well.
A prime Klitschko, absolutely, but also something else, and he touched the masses because of the mental health situation. Now, I've heard this thing about the PR machine behind Lewis Hamilton. If anyone thinks PR was the reason the car was painted black, they're wrong. Lewis was the reason. If anybody believes the rainbow helmet from this weekend was the PR, it wasn't. It was Lewis.